Look into my eyes. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town. On March 15th, 2011, Marcus Freeman, the 16-year-old star quarterback of Sarasota, Florida's Northport High School, died suddenly and tragically in a car accident. Over the next 2 weeks, 2 of his classmates also died by suicide. 3 bizarre deaths in rapid succession rocked Northport High School's close-knit community, and it wasn't long before investigators connected the dots on the 3 deaths, leading them back to a controversial high school leader that figured prominently in these children's lives. Today on Ghost Town, we're talking about a school principal obsessed with hypnosis and controlling the many young minds at his local high school. The case of Dr. George Kenney. Let's get back to March 15th, 2011, when the student body of Northport High School in Sarasota, Florida, discovered their beloved quarterback Marcus Freeman had driven off of a freeway with his girlfriend in the passenger seat. While Freeman's girlfriend survived, he did not, which began an investigation into why he would do such a thing to himself and his significant other. As the investigation commenced, Freeman's parents admitted the only thing different than usual was that the athlete was having some trouble with the pain of a root canal. That was all. Of course, Sarasota authorities immediately began looking into Freeman's friends and family. But just 2 weeks after Sarasota PD began investigating, another tragedy struck. On April 8th, 2011, another Northport high schooler named Wesley McKinley hanged himself outside of his home. A talented guitarist who aspired to attend Juilliard School of the Arts, the 16-year-old was a kind soul who spent all of his time in the music room, playing guitar and teaching others how to play. And with an audition at Juilliard already booked, he was well on his way to the future that he wanted. And then, shockingly, on May 4th, 17-year-old Brittany Palumbo also took her own life by way of hanging herself. From the outside, she seemed happy, adjusted, an American success story. Both parents never went to college, but Brittany would break the cycle. She was planning on attending the University of Central Florida in the fall, rooming with her best friend, and where her boyfriend already currently attended. So what happened with these teenagers? Investigators looked into any connection, and they found some big ones. The 3 teens all went to Northport High. They all had the same goal that they were having somewhat of a difficult time achieving, and they all went to George Kenney to help them achieve their goal. But who was Dr. Kenney, and what was he, quote, doing to these students? The answer was shocking. George Kenney was the well-liked principal of Northport High in Sarasota County, and he was known as a kind of scholarly curmudgeon. He'd come from a working-class background and was hired in 2001 as the first principal of Northport, a new high school in the area filled with children of working-class Americans. Here's a quote by Dr. Kenney about being a principal. Quote, "Well, I've always kind of rooted for the underdog and the people that can pull themselves up by their bootstraps. One of my many strengths was to be able to see the potential in people and to try to bring that out." Here's another quote from an NPR piece about the case. Kenney started doing things to, quote, introduce them to worlds they weren't familiar with, futures they hadn't even imagined yet. He created an art center. He started dozens of after-school clubs. He introduced AP and college-level courses. He held job fairs at the school, and it was good. But these days, the odds are stacked against kids like this more than ever. So Kenney felt like he needed to find something on another level. And then one day in 2009, Kenney discovered something pretty weird. Something probably no principal had ever even considered before. When Kenney looked around Northport High, he didn't see a bunch of hot-headed losers destined for hourly labor and minimum wage. He saw what they could be, their better future selves. All they needed were new ideas in their head about what those selves could look like. And once Kenney accepted the job at Northport High, he bent his whole life around that mission. Those big dreams they had, he would give them the tools to make those dreams real. He would do this through hypnosis. Kenney first encountered the practice through a workshop at the Omni Hypnosis Training Center. According to that same NPR piece, quote, "Every year, the famous hypnotist Jerry Keene rented a conference room at a Hampton Inn in DeLand, Florida, for a week. For about $3,000, they teach their students about hypnosis, the basic scripts, methods, and laws in every state about when and how it can be practiced. Their philosophy is that a better version of ourselves, the version we've always dreamed of, is locked up inside of us. Sounds familiar? Of course it did. This really aligned with Kenney's whole mentality about the world and his students, and he believed through and through that he wanted to be better and make those around him better. Hypnosis was the kind of secret to do it quickly and effectively with low overhead. To Kenney, it was kind of its own miracle drug. So in 2009, when Kenney sat through Keene's talk, he knew he had to take these tools to Northport. He first tried out hypnosis on a student named Mike, who wanted badly to enlist in the Marines but had an unstable home life and was working after-school jobs to help with the rent. The electricity would routinely shut off in Mike's house, and they'd run an extension cord to the neighbor's outlet just to keep things like food from spoiling in the fridge. Because of stress, Mike had developed a bad tic, a head twitch that extended into grunting. These affectations would flare up in any type of high-pressure situation, so Kenney offered to teach him hypnosis. And it worked. Mike went to boot camp, onto the Marines, did 2 tours overseas, and went to college on the GI Bill. After Mike, Kenney knew what he had was worth sharing, and he was ready. The second kid Kenney taught hypnosis to was named Eric. Eric needed a much higher SAT score to attend Florida A&M, and Kenney's training got him to concentrate and perform how he needed to on the test, which gave him a whopping 189 points higher than before. Back to that NPR piece, quote, "So now that Kenney had found hypnosis, he started doing it with everyone. He hypnotized teachers who wanted to pass professional exams. He hypnotized students who wanted to get better grades or be better athletes. He hypnotized parents who wanted to stop smoking. He hypnotized so many Bobcats softball and baseball and football and volleyball players, sometimes entire teams at once." George Kenney then started making podcasts on reducing test anxiety and improving sports performance through the technique. He also has a website, still has, that promoted hypnosis to, quote, "banish fear and insecurity from your life." Now, even back then, before the tragic deaths of his students, his practice was innately problematic. In Florida, quote, "therapeutic hypnosis is against the law unless it is monitored or conducted by a medical professional." This law is vague and rarely used, but enacted in 1961 and was still active at the time that Kenney was administering hypnosis. Also a big problem, as you might imagine, underage children were being hypnotized without the permission of their parents. Still, despite those things, something was working, and over 75 people, students, parents, staff, used hypnosis willingly, without medical supervision, to great success, giving them a sense of focus, more relaxation, higher test scores, the curbing of bad habits, creative and athletic success, and more. Until it stopped working, at least in the way that the hypnotees wanted. More after the break.
Have you ever heard about the woman who woke up in a cold sweat? Like she had just had a nightmare, but she knew what she saw while she was sleeping was more than just a bad dream? Or the violinist who disappeared from the orchestra pit in front of thousands of people in the audience? What about when a mark left behind at a crime scene led investigators to wonder if there were devil-worshipping occultists prowling their rural community? Well, the Mr. Ballin podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories, is nothing but these kinds of stories. Each episode is meticulously crafted to keep you hanging on every word until the final chilling twist. And well, each episode is strange, dark, and mysterious. Seriously, the host, Mr. Ballin, has this unique ability to keep listeners balanced on the edge of life and death, with just a dash of excitement like I've never heard before. Follow Mr. Ballin podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories, on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on the Amazon Music app. Hi, hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
We're checking in.
This is the check-in.
We want to say hello to anyone who's listening, supporting us, spreading the good word of Ghost Town. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And our government, they have the power of hypnotism themselves. Whoa. How do you think they got into the government?
Whoa.
They just cast a spell on us, and here they are.
Wow, they're very powerful.
We're also very I mean, susceptible.
Susceptible. Oh, well, our brains are mush.
Yeah.
Okay, so not that hard, not that impressed, but also good work.
This mayor can hypnotize you to taking them to the airport.
Ugh.
Friday at 5 p.m.
No.
Yeah.
You're their slave.
You're going to the airport, baby, at the worst time. And when they make flight reservations, they're like, I don't care, because I'm going to hypnotize someone to take me to the airport. Both ways. That's Cat Joselle.
Hello.
This mayor can hypnotize you. You ever hear the phrase, you fly, I'll buy, when going to get food? Like somebody drives and the other person pays. This person says, you fly, you buy.
And you say, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They hypnotize you into driving them there and then buying them Taco Bell.
They say, I was like, lobster rolls? I was like, what's a expensive, weird lunch?
Yeah, but I think it's something like, if you drive there, like it's like kind of like
a drive-through type situation. I got it.
But listen, if they got lobster rolls.
I mean, if you're going to hypnotize someone, you can get more than Taco Bell, baby.
Yeah. But do you really want more?
No.
I don't know. Ask Ashley Matson.
Hello.
This mayor will hypnotize you to donating exorbitant amount of money to their kids' fundraiser
for a yoga retreat,
or like where kids are like, they need more soccer uniforms.
Oh, I thought you meant
I have a lot of nieces and nephews.
Okay, I thought you meant like an older kid who's like, I really want to do this thing, but I don't want to pay for it.
No, I'm talking about future, our future.
Oh,
it's so annoying, right? Our future, and they need soccer uniforms. They want to go to this, the all-state choir thing, and you're just like, yeah, I'll donate. And he's like, yeah, I'll donate $10. And it's like, how about 10 times $10?
Whoa!
And that's it. They have some scruples. $100 is their limit. It's Kelly Meehan.
Hello.
This mayor, they'll hypnotize you into helping them move.
Oof.
Wow. You're out there. You're renting a truck.
This is a whole weekend thing. And you have to eat like shit while you do it too.
It's bad. It's like you don't even ask for because you're getting hypnotized. You don't even get Little Caesars.
Oh.
I know. It's they're really using it though.
Okay.
It's Casey Weber.
Hello.
This mayor will hypnotize you and make you their social wingman. So they follow you around and then just laugh at all your jokes and then co-sign anything you say. So if you need, if you had a work event, you need someone just to lie for you. Yeah.
They'll do. Okay. So it's a service that they're hypnotizing someone to lend out to you.
Yes.
I see now.
Yeah.
You need someone who's just going to be like, oh my God,
yes,
fucking awesome dude.
Yeah, so
Date
true.
This dude.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Yeah.
Everything it says is true.
Great. Oh, it's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God, did you make these hors d'oeuvres? These burgers yours?
It's just everything. Yeah.
Okay.
And you need it.
You do.
You do. It's tough times right now.
I know. It's true.
That's Matthew Clemens LeRae.
Hello.
This mayor will hypnotize you into hiding anything. No questions asked. I know. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Sexy though too, in a way.
It is. It's Mercer Rothermel.
Hello.
This mayor will hypnotize you into swapping apartments. It's just
just straight up.
Straight up.
Give me that thing.
Yeah, he's like, my apartment's kind of small. How about you give me yours? It's a 2-bedroom.
And you're like, but I have a family. And they're like, tough.
They can hang out in the studio. It's got a hot plate. Deal with it. You're getting hypnotized. And they're like, all right. But the family's not hypnotized. So they're like, what the hell are we doing?
What?
They're like, no, I'll just leave you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who doesn't care?
Who?
Mayor Chris Hernandez.
Hello.
And our governor, who's had us hypnotized since day one.
How could we
Look how we talk about.
How
do we talk about our governor every single time? We're under hypnosis. Yes. And we're not trying to break out of it.
And we like it.
We're like, what else can we do or say?
Give us stuff to do.
Yeah. Let us do your bidding. We want to do your bidding.
Come on. Just tell us another thing.
Yeah, we'll do it. That would be our governor, Avian Noble. If you want no ads, no chit chat, bonus episode, 7 days free, head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod. And we want to get back into it.
Let's do it. As Sarasota PD were looking into the deaths of 3 Northport high schoolers, their parents told investigators that all 3 of their children had run into separate difficulties, and had turned to their principal, 51-year-old George Kenney, for guidance. Wesley McKinley was a new kid at Northport. He was talented, attractive, and had a kind of, quote, Bieber look. He had just secured, like I said before, an audition at Juilliard, but was, of course, as anyone might be, incredibly nervous and intimidated by the opportunity. After participating in a hypnosis demonstration, McKinley was excited, telling his own parents that hypnotism would probably help him relax and focus for his audition. As he began taking sessions with Kenney, friends of the musician said it was a powerful and disturbing force in the boy's life right off the bat, that McKinley would even have trouble remembering his own name after the sessions. And then there was Brittany Palumbo, who was on her way to the University of Central Florida, or so she hoped. Desperate to go to college, she was not a gifted academic, but would study hard to get the grades that would get her admitted. She had an excellent GPA, but according to her mother, she needed to get her SAT scores up. So with the permission of her mom, Brittany and Patty worked together with Kenney to create a hypnosis curriculum to get her scores up. But the sessions freaked her mother, Patty Palumbo, out. Said Patty in an interview, quote, "And he said, I'm going to give you a subliminal message that any time in your life that you feel anxious, depressed, confused, that you will blink your eyes rapidly and enter a calm and relaxed state." When they got outside, Patty asked Brittany if her back and neck hurt from all the slumping. Brittany scoffed and said, "Mom, I wasn't in that position." And then Patty asked her daughter about those last words, the subliminal message Kenney had left about the calm and relaxed state. And Brittany said that she had never said that. According to Patty, quote, "It concerned me enough that I would not allow her to drive her car. I took the keys from her, and she got into my car and she came home." And then there was Marcus Freeman, who went to Kenney to get better at football and also to work through any medical ailments that might have plagued him. The day after a root canal on March 14th, he inexplicably drove off of the road, killing himself and traumatizing his girlfriend, who was also in the car. After that tragedy, Wesley McKinley's behavior was becoming more erratic, led, of course, by his hypnosis sessions. He was asking people to call him by his middle name, Tyler, which is what Kenney would call him during hypnosis. He was asking kids to punch him and becoming more irate, more triggered by everyday news. When his girlfriend, who had told him a couple of times over their relationship that she had kissed someone else, broke the news again to him that she had been unfaithful, he left his parents' home and hanged himself from a tree. The day after Wesley McKinley was found dead, Brittany Palumbo left a long, positive message on his Facebook wall. Her life was also falling apart. Despite doing hypnosis, her scores were still not good enough to be admitted to UCF. Her boyfriend at the university had broken up with her, and she was in a big fight with her best friend, whom she had planned to room with. On May 3rd, 2011, Brittany Palumbo and her mom, Patty, decided she would be going to a local community college instead of UCF, her dream. The next day, around 6 p.m., Brittany said she was going to take a nap, but her mother soon discovered that she had taken her own life. Kenney's use of hypnotism was widely known at the school, and when investigators asked if he had hypnotized Freeman, McKinley, and/or Palumbo, he denied working with Freeman and Palumbo, but admitted to doing hypnosis with McKinley the day before he died. But then his parents said that Kenney hypnotized Freeman to aid his concentration and keep his mind off pain during games. Of course, Patty Palumbo spoke up about Kenney's involvement with her daughter. Of course, she was there. And then everyone was looking at the kindly principal not as a mentor, but a criminal. On May 19th, 2011, Kenney was placed on permanent administrative leave, and the principal permanently resigned in June of 2012. Soon after, a lawsuit was filed against the school. Damian Mallard, an attorney representing the families of McKinley, Palumbo, and Freeman, said that the parents did not sue for money, but to hold the school district accountable and to ensure something similar does not ever happen again. Quote, "It's something they will never get over. It's probably the worst loss that can happen to a parent is to lose a child, especially needlessly, because you had someone who decided to perform medical services on kids without a license," Mallard said. "He altered the underdeveloped brains of teenagers, and they all ended up dead because of it." Mallard said the families in the district reached a $600,000 settlement agreement on August 1st, 2012. Kenney was charged with 2 misdemeanors in 2012 as well, including practicing therapeutic hypnosis without a license. He entered a plea of no contest as part of that deal and served 1 year of probation, during which he was not allowed to practice unlicensed hypnosis. Kenney himself has admitted to making errors in judgment, but said that he was sure hypnosis was an extremely valuable tool. His viewpoint is summed up in one public statement he made, quote, "I was treated very unfairly in this situation." While of course you can't prove hypnosis directly caused the deaths of these 3 Sarasota students, a Tampa Bay Times piece from 2011 suggests that the hypnotized students likely had pre-existing but unrecognized mental health issues. Quote, "The issue in working with hypnosis is that there can be latent things that are triggered, like past experiences and memories, and that the patient can have a bad reaction." The experts interviewed by Tampa Bay Times go on to say, "Does hypnosis cause suicide in and of itself? That's not really likely. Can it trigger some sort of mental health problem that was dormant? Yes." These psychological experts interviewed by the Herald Tribune say Kenney likely convinced himself that the benefits of hypnosis were so great that the educator himself became obsessed with the practice. These experts go on to say that Kenney probably had problems in his own mental state, likely narcissism, addiction, and of course, abuse of power. A wolf in sheep's clothing, practicing a discipline that we don't fully understand, but know to be, of course, in this instance and many others, incredibly powerful.